The interrogation chamber hummed with the sterile coldness of the Galactic Council's flagship. Valkyrie sat perfectly still, her wrists bound by photon cuffs that flickered blue against her tan skin. She didn't flinch when Commander Maximus entered, his ceremonial armor catching the harsh overhead lights. He was Xanthari, one of the galaxy's oldest and most prideful species. 7 feet tall, with crystalline scales that shifted between silver and gold. He carried himself with the authority of someone who had never been challenged. Until today. Human, he said, his voice a low rumble that made the air vibrate. You destroyed an entire Krell warfleet alone. Explain. Valkyrie met his gaze without blinking. They attacked my transport ship. I defended myself. Defended? Maximus circled her slowly, his clawed feet clicking against the metal floor. You vaporized 43 warships in 17 seconds. The Krell have been conquering systems for 10,000 years. You are a single human, a species barely 200 years into space travel. Is there a question in there, Commander? His scales darkened, a sign of irritation. How did you do it? Valkyrie tilted her head, and that's when it happened. The collar of her flight suit shifted, revealing a small patch of skin at the base of her neck. The mark there began to glow, a deep crimson red that pulsed like a heartbeat. Maximus froze mid-step. His crystalline eyes widened, and for the first time in his 3-century military career, fear crept into his voice. That symbol, he whispered, taking an involuntary step backward. That symbol was banned centuries ago. The mark was simple yet unmistakable, a circle with 7 converging lines, each ending in a small star. It looked almost tribal, almost primitive. But Maximus knew better. Every species in the Galactic Council knew better. You recognize it, Valkyrie said quietly. It wasn't a question. The mark of the Void Walkers. Maximus's hand moved instinctively to his sidearm, though he didn't draw it. That's impossible. They were myths. Stories we told to frighten children. Were they? The commander's mind raced through fragments of ancient history, the kind that was taught in hushed tones at the military academies. Thousands of years ago, before the Galactic Council existed, before even the eldest species had mastered faster-than-light travel, there had been something. A war that spanned dimensions, an enemy that couldn't be killed because it existed between the spaces of reality itself. And then they came. Warriors marked with the symbol now glowing on Valkyrie's neck. They appeared without warning, without origin, and they pushed back the darkness. When the war ended, they vanished just as mysteriously. The Council's founders banned any mention of them, declared the symbol forbidden, and buried the record so deep that most species forgot they ever existed. But humans were new to the galaxy. How could they possibly? Your species wasn't even spacefaring back then, Maximus said, his tactical mind working through the impossibility. Humans were still on Earth, still primitive. Valkyrie smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Primitive. That's what everyone keeps saying. Tell me, Commander, what do you know about human mythology? Enough to know you worshipped false gods and told stories around fires. Stories, she repeated. About warriors who could move between worlds. About shields that couldn't be broken and spears that never missed. About humans who fought alongside gods and monsters. We call them heroes, legends, myths. Her eyes locked onto his. What if they weren't myths? The mark flared brighter, and Maximus felt something he hadn't experienced in decades. Primal, instinctive terror. The Krell weren't just attacking my ship, Valkyrie continued. They were testing Earth's defenses. They wanted to see if the rumors were true, if humans were really connected to the Void Walkers. Now they know. You're saying humans are descended from them? From warriors that existed before most of our species evolved? Maximus struggled to keep his voice steady. Not descended, Commander. We are them. We never left. We just slept. Waited. Evolved on one little planet in a backwater system, forgetting what we once were. But the marks remember. Our DNA remembers. And when the galaxy needed us again, she stood up and the photon cuffs shattered like glass. Maximus's hand went to his weapon, but he couldn't draw it. His body refused to move. The Council banned the symbol because they were afraid, Valkyrie said, walking toward him with measured steps, afraid of what it represented, afraid that one day the Void Walkers might return. And they were right to be afraid. What do you want? Maximus managed to ask. The same thing we've always wanted. To protect. She stopped inches from him, and he could feel the power radiating from the mark on her neck. The Krell are just the beginning. There are things in the dark spaces between stars that make them look like children, things that remember the old war and want to finish what they started. And humans can stop them? We already did once. We'll do it again. The red glow faded and suddenly Maximus could move. He gasped, unaware he'd been holding his breath. Valkyrie walked toward the chamber door, which opened automatically at her approach. She paused at the threshold and looked back. Tell the council that humanity isn't asking for a seat at their table. We're taking it. And if they're smart, they'll be grateful we're on their side this time. She touched the mark on her neck almost absently, because the alternative would be unfortunate. She disappeared into the corridor, leaving Maximus alone in the interrogation chamber. His scales had turned a pale, shocked white. He activated his comm unit with a trembling hand. This is Commander Maximus to Council Central. Priority Alpha, we have a situation. Humanity isn't what we thought. They're not newcomers to the galaxy. He glanced at where Valkyrie had been sitting, at the shattered photon cuffs on the floor. They're the old gods returning home. And somewhere in the depths of space, 43 Krell warships drifted as debris, a warning written in fire and void light. The humans had announced themselves to the galaxy not with words, but with the one language every species understood. Power. The mark on Valkyrie's neck had stopped glowing. But throughout Earth's population of 12 billion souls, thousands of identical marks began to pulse with that same crimson light. The Void Walkers were awakening. End.